What I want to share with you next is a story of how a customer, like perhaps yourselves, actually got in touch with the Google Cloud Marketplace and explored it, found a great solution, and are running it in production. So I want to introduce Ian first from Home Depot Quote Center, and in a bit, Laura from Matillion. I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Neil.
Yep.
I'm Ian Knight. I'm a business intelligence architect for Quote Center. I've been in IT for about 18 years. I've worked in various roles, development, engineering, architecture, and leadership. I've worked in local government, the retail, web, and financial services sector. Quote Center was founded about 10 years ago and acquired by Home Depot 4 years ago. Our goal is to be the center of excellence, driving contractor sales, which is a $600 billion market. We want Home Depot to be the place of choice for contractors, just as it is for consumers. To support that, our goal was to migrate our existing BI environment, which provided reporting and analytic capabilities. The current environment had scalability issues. The code had become a little bit unwieldy. We had a company strategy to move to GCP. We looked at a serverless architecture first and settled on BigQuery as a platform. We tried to run our existing tools, but it really wasn't a good fit. Now, our team and our current environment were built around the Microsoft stack, so this was a big culture and technology shift for us. So we needed a new approach. So we got the team in a room and we came up with some criteria that made sense for us. Cost was definitely a concern. We wanted a tool that would help transition our skills. We wanted something that would integrate with source control. We had some source system requirements like SQL, Salesforce, and Elasticsearch. We knew we wanted to transform the data and apply our business rules. We wanted a tool that was scalable. We knew we needed to schedule jobs, and we knew we wanted monitoring capabilities. We also wanted a tool that was hosted in Google Cloud. Another important thing for us was that we had a tool that worked in multiple environments, our dev, test, QA, and production. So we did we have about 50 years combined experience in our team, and we did what any self-respecting IT professional would do. We Googled BigQuery ETL tools. That took us to the partner page, and there are a lot of offerings in the partner page. We talked to some of them. We did some demos. We got some high-pressure sales pitches. It wasn't optimal. Another theme we saw in the partner page was a lot of the offerings were actually hosted on AWS, which from a security and performance perspective wasn't really optimal for us. There were also other solutions outside of the marketplace, but generally they required you to install and manage your own infrastructure. Again, not optimal. So one of the partners we found was Matillion. One of the things we liked was for 99 cents an hour, we could just spin the instance up. We didn't need to talk to a sales rep. We didn't need to negotiate a proof of concept. So that's what we did. We launched the instance. We poked around. It looked like a tool that might meet our needs. The interface was pretty familiar. The transformations made sense to us. It was hosted in Google Cloud Platform. So we reached out to Matillion, and they worked with us. They gave us an introduction. They helped us as we moved forward. We actually went back to the marketplace and launched a beefier instance to run our production environment on. One of the things we really liked was we could make use of the APIs and import all our code and configuration straight from source, so definite benefit there. So where are we now? With the combination of BigQuery and Matillion, Our team, Eng, Cynthia, Phil, and Vitali, have been able to load source and model data into BigQuery. We've been following engineering practices probably more commonly seen in app dev teams. One of our engineers, Vitali, was able to automate our deployments between environments. He integrated source control. He integrated alerting with Slack. We're currently in the process of building data quality checks within Matillion. We're about 80% migrated from our on-prem, and Home Depot teams outside a quote center now solely use our BigQuery implementation. We feel like we're much better positioned for the analytic demands of a growing company, and we put ourselves in a better position as we move more towards a streaming architecture and real-time analytic capabilities. Few takeaways. BigQuery is fundamentally different from other platforms we've used, so embrace its strengths. One of the things we've done is working with Home Depot's implementation of BigQuery. We've been easily able to integrate the work they've done and use their projects and data sets rather than recreating the same work on our side. We've been able to use Cloud Launcher or Google Marketplace to go back and launch new instances as Matillion has come out with updates, and we've been able to test them to make sure there were no breaking changes in the way we used Matillion. One of the things taking advantage of the parameterization in Matillion, we're able to point to a completely blank environment and deploy all our staging table, views, permissions, all straight from source control. One final thing. As we started to do things that weren't out of the box for Matillion, we learned to use the Python scripting and the Google API to fill in the gaps. I'd like to hand it over to Laura from Matillion.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you very much, Ian. So hopefully you can hear me there. Thank you very much, Ian. So hi, everyone. My name's Laura Malins. I'm a solution architect here at Matillion. And today I'm just going to give you some of the highlights of what is available within the Matillion product. So I'll just switch across to my demo machine. And here we can see the Matillion ETL page for BigQuery on the GCP platform, so available within the marketplace, as Anhil showed. And here we've got our 14-day free trial of the product. This is really popular with our customers, so they can see how the product will work within their own environment. You can also try out the test drive of the product, so you can try the product in a sandbox environment completely outside of your GCP project, so you can see what the product does. And then when you decide to launch, you just click through on the Launch to Compute Engine button, and it is very, very quick to launch up Matillion. And the really nice thing we find about launching Matillion within the marketplace is that you've got the ability to configure those resources as you need it. So you can choose how many CPUs you want in your Matillion instance. You can also choose how much RAM to allocate to that. And then once the instance is launched, it'll literally spin up in 2 minutes. And it'll spin up as a VM within your own GCP project. And now if I jump across, you access that VM via the web browser. And this is Matillion ETL for BigQuery. And there are two main jobs available within Matillion. There's a transformation job, which is used for transforming all your data within BigQuery. And there's an orchestration job, which is used to bring all that data down into BigQuery. So Ian used an orchestration job to reach out to his on-premise databases, so his MS SQL databases, to connect out to that database and first of all move everything off the legacy systems but also you can use it to bring data from incremental updates from data source systems as well. And Matillion, one of the real benefits of Matillion is it connects to a whole host of different source systems. So on your screen now, you can see an example orchestration job that we've got, and I'll just talk you through this briefly. So we've got 4 things happening in parallel here. First of all, we're creating some blank staging tables for us on BigQuery. We're then using our cloud storage load component to connect into a flat file which is stored in a cloud storage bucket, and it'll copy the contents of that flat file down into BigQuery. In parallel, we're checking for an if condition, so we're checking if some data already exists within BigQuery, and then we're loading some data out from Google Analytics. We're also loading out some data from Microsoft SQL Server from our on-premise system. And we're connecting into Salesforce, so our Salesforce instance in the cloud, and we're pulling some accounts and opportunities data down here, and we're saying if that account loads fails, actually that's a key thing for my whole job. I want my whole job to fail. And once this is loaded, we can then transform our data as required within BigQuery and run that transformation job down there. And all of this is very, very easy to configure with Matillion. So I can see a list of components available down here. I can expand out my load unload folder. And here, this will give you a flavor of all of the different data sources that Matillion will connect into. So I want to add a new source in here, say HubSpot, for example. I just drag it and drop it, and it's a very user-friendly interface. It's all dragging and clicking and dropping, and it presents this visual view of Matillion. So I'll just scroll down and show you some more of the sources available here. So I think at the last count, we were up to about 60-odd data sources, but we're constantly receiving feedback from customers, and we're always adding to these sources here as well. And then finally, we've got this API query component. So for a native source, for your data that Matillion doesn't have a connector for, you can use this API query component to connect in, and Matillion can pull that data from your API down into BigQuery. And these sources are very easy to configure. You can simply click into one of them, and it's just a selection of options. So in Salesforce, I can choose my authentication via, say, username and password or via OAuth. Then I pick the authentication that I've already got set up. And now what Matillion does is it will connect into Salesforce as you as a user. So it takes a few seconds to do that because it's connecting in through. And what it will do now is it will present a list of all of the objects that I've got available for me in Salesforce that I've authenticated to access. So it will show that list, and it will show all of the custom objects within Salesforce now. So I think it's taking a couple of seconds to load that because the Wi-Fi is quite slow. And then once you've configured from that data source, you've picked down that drop-down, you select which fields you want to bring through from that source, and then you simply give the name of the new table that Matillion is going to create for you in BigQuery to write that data through into. So here now we can see the list of all those data sources, and we can see that Matillion will bring any custom ones back for us. And then once I've got all the data available within BigQuery, I can then transform it. So here's my transformation job. I've got different components because this is all about working within BigQuery and really harnessing the power of BigQuery to manipulate and transform our data as we require. So then you can feed that data out into your business intelligence tool, or you can pass it on to your data scientists, as Ian did.